We are live.
Welcome to Ink Pub Live. Sponsored
We're here.
by the Champagne of Waters, Topo Motherfucking Chico.
Jason, what are you drinking there?
I got Trader Joe's sparkling water.
Ooh,
Okay.
very nice.
Yeah.
I got reverse osmosis tap water.
There we go.
All right. We're all healthy people here.
Oh, getting old things.
And so, all right, I'm here. Me and Jim are here live with special guest today. Andy Kubert is in the house.
Andy,
Hey,
thank
Andy.
you so much for doing this, man. Thank you.
Oh,
This is
thanks for
awesome.
having me. I really appreciate it. Me and my partner over there, Jason.
Yeah, we also
Jason
have my art
Schachter.
dealer, Jason Schachter.
Hello.
And also, guys, Jim and I are gonna be inking some Andy Kubert pencils.
Yep, they're gonna make
Yes.
you look good.
Make them look right.
It's just very intimidating, but we're gonna do it.
It
Jim,
is a bold move, which I was like, what if we're inking these and Andy is just horrified by what we're doing? It's just
he
like
can let
live.
us know.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
Very
gonna
much.
expect that. I'm gonna expect that.
What I'm always looking for is people to help me out. So, hey, you never know.
Well, do you have any
You
favorite
never know.
inkers? Who's your favorite inker to work with?
Me?
Yeah.
They were all really good, man. You know. So, gosh, Scott Williams, Jesse Delberding,
Oh, Delperdang's great.
and Klaus Jansen. I mean,
Klaus.
Klaus
my
is
dad inked
the
a lot of my
legend.
stuff. So, you know.
So you got to
That's-
work with some pretty good talent.
I had some, I had some really good people on me. Yeah.
Yeah, some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So one thing we do want to talk about right off the bat is there's a Kickstarter. What is it? The pre-launch page right now, Jay?
Yep, that's the pre-launch page. We're going to go live on September 17th. That's
And
next Tuesday.
And it's for the Marvel art of Andy Kubert.
It's the Marvel art of the X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men art of Andy.
Oh, it's the X-Men. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So let
So-
me show you guys, because I just got in the mail the Marvel art of David Finch, and I got Art Adams too. I got two of them. See, look at this beautiful packaging Jason does.
That is
Marvel Essential Sequential. You get this nice boxing inside on this baby.
It's awesome
We got-
packaging. It's great.
We need to make Andy a pin. What should Andy's
Not-
pin be?
Watch this. So it also comes with a dope little mini print. This is the Finch book.
Well, there's a few of them in there for you
That's
too.
beautiful. That's great.
Nice.
Yeah, and then look at this, Jason. This is a nice touch too. The interior box art.
Nice. It's
Very
badass.
cool.
Yeah, it's a great
Badass.
package.
Nice.
I think he
We've
did
got
killer
a special
job,
one
Jason.
for Andy coming too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And we
So-
were talking before the show. You guys were mentioning like Andy's book, hardcover and softcover options, also slipcase, classy slipcase format, which
yeah,
I
that's a
dig a
classy
lot.
move.
It's going to be super classy. There's going to be 250 copies of the slipcase. And then the only way you can get the hardcovers is on Kickstarter. So that's the Kickstarter exclusive for supporting us early. The soft covers are for conventions and for retailers and for Amazon. So the only way to get those nice hardcovers are through Kickstarter.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
that book,
right
I
here.
have that book. That book's beautiful.
Oh my god, it's gorgeous. Look at this, guys.
Yeah.
Damn.
So each of them will have a gatefold too. So Andy's is a guide to the X Mansion cover.
Our art is just way too good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, man.
Dude, look at that Galactus. This
Yeah,
ball.
Badass.
So yeah, so these are beautiful. I know Andy's book is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So
Can we
we've got
see-
the
Ja-
link? Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh
Jamie,
yeah,
can we
let's look-
see?
let's look.
Can we see a little teaser of
Can
Andy's?
Indeed. Here we go. If you guys can see
Jazzy
that.
Jamie Wood is with us, you guys. Jazzy Jamie Wood. Hell yeah.
Jazzy Jamie.
So that's the regular
Wait.
cover.
Just while I'm going through this, we had a question. I can't remember who it's from. Oh, B Flow asked any info on Kickstarter rewards.
Yeah,
There should be a few in there. We're doing a few puzzles. There's a 24 by 36 X-Men 24 silkscreen.
Nice.
There is the Uncanny X-Men #1 variant. That's the Virgin variant that just came out this last week. So that's the only place you can get the Virgin variants here on Kickstarter. What else do we have? We've got
Man.
stickers.
You have a door poster?
We've got a big door poster.
Dude, that when I was a kid, I had a John Romita Sr. Spider-Man door poster. It was like my favorite poster of all time.
Yeah. Can you go back one, Jamie, to that Gambit cover? This is such a classic image. That's so badass, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind how I got to do that?
Please tell us.
I kind of wrote it a little bit in there. It's when I was first started working up at Marvel, and it was, let's see, I was probably working at DC for about 3-4 years. And I was just standing in the Marvel offices looking for work. And Bob Harris said to me, he goes, "Would you like to draw an X-Men cover?" I said, "Sure." They gave me the character sheets of what Gambit and Storm looked like. They were Jim Lee designs that he did. And he goes, "Come up with something, with these two. And I need it by tomorrow."
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Well,
Damn.
I came up with the design for the next day, but it took me probably about another day to draw the whole thing out. And I had no idea who Gambit was. I really didn't even know who.
Oh, wow.
And I just drew it out, and we had no idea the way that cover was going to take off.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was just, that's like one of the first X-Men things that I did, and I was just standing in the right place at the right time. And I'm pretty sure that Jim was supposed to draw that cover, but he just didn't have time to do it. So they just needed to get it done and get it out. So I was standing in the right place at the right time.
So, man, did you were you at the Marvel offices often? Were you living in New York at that time?
Yeah, I lived about an hour and a half outside Manhattan.
Okay.
So yeah, I tried to get in as often as I could. I started out also lettering comics. And so whenever I would bring in a lettering job, I would also bring in my art portfolio. And because that was a chance that I could see the editors, so I would just show them that stuff. And that's actually how I got, that's how I got into Marvel. And I got my first stuff in Savage Sword of Conan. Larry Hama gave me some of my first stuff up there.
Wow.
How did you get in?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. How did you get into lettering? I'm curious about that.
Because when I first started at my dad's school, I dropped out of college at the age of 19, and I didn't draw. I had no idea how to draw, and the whole point. When I did drop out after 6 months, my father said, "Hey, why don't you come through the school for about a year? You learn about the school. And then after that, you could work in the office with your mom." That's when my mother ran the office at the school. And I said, okay, I had nothing else going on. So I said, that sounded good. But when I went through the school, when I got into it, I really got into it. I got into the drawing. I got into the whole craft of it. My classmates, my brother was my class with me. Let's see, Ron Wagner, Jay Geldof, Eric Schanauer was in my class.
Wow. So did you grow up with a love for drawing or no?
No, not at all. No.
Wow, you just had that Kubert superpower in you.
I don't know what it is. It's just I really got into it, and it was really hard and really frustrating because I was starting at ground zero. I knew nothing, and Ron Wagner was in the class too, and Ron had drawn G.I. Joe. But all these people, had some kind of good basis in drawing, and I didn't, and I was like the worst. So I had a lot to prove, and I'm a very competitive person. I played a lot of basketball since I was a little kid up through high school, and I was very competitive that way. So I looked at this the same way, and I was very competitive with my brother, and that actually helped me and him out a lot as far as getting better. So, and I just got into it. I got into the whole thing. I used to read comics as a kid all the time. My dad would bring them home. They were all over the house.
So what was it like to have your dad? Were you did you know how much of an innovator he was in the medium growing up, or was Wow.
I knew he was a great artist. I knew he could draw, and I read all his stuff, all the Sergeant Rocket and the Ace, all that. But I had no idea, like, you know, his place in comic history and all that kind of stuff. Not till
Right.
later on, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then were you and your brother associated with the school? Were you teaching ever at Joe Kubert at the school?
I taught at the school
Yeah.
for 16 years. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that while you were working in comics too?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't start teaching at the school until like 2001. So I was already drawing comics professionally since 1986. So,
But what I'm saying is, were you doing it at the same time, or did you stop drawing comics to
oh
teach?
no,
or
I did at the same time. I didn't stop.
Nice.
You know.
Yeah, I did the same
2001,
thing.
I think I was drawing 1602 at the time. I remember because when I first started teaching, I had the tight deadlines on 1602. So, you know, it was kind of harrowing at the time, but it was harrowing. You know?
Yeah, I remember I was exclusive at Marvel and running the sequential art department and teaching it at SCAD in Atlanta, and that almost broke me.
It's a lot. It's it's a lot to do, and you do it for a long time, and you know, I don't know. It's a lot of fun though too. If it wasn't so much fun, you can't do it, you know. But
Right.
Do you miss
You
teaching?
have to. Oh, go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Do you miss teaching? That seems. A lot of the artists I know just seem to enjoy imparting knowledge to the next generation.
That is great. I like teaching, especially when the students were into it. Sometimes it did get to be like more of a job. Drawing to me is not a job. You know, you sit there and you doodle away and you sketch. It's great. Sometimes teaching got a little bit more than that, but I enjoyed it, or else that was something that I couldn't do for 16 years either. You know?
Right. And then, so Andy, when you were doing most of the X-Men stuff, you were on the East Coast, and then did you eventually made the move to the West Coast at some point, or that's a recent move?
I moved out here 2018.
Oh, okay. That's the year I left.
DC moved out because I was a consultant with DC. So so when they moved out here, I also had an office at DC, and
okay,
far from where they had their offices, you know, and until they closed down in 2020.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so you were actually on. It was on the Warner Brothers lot.
I was at a building called The Point, and that was right outside the Warner Brothers lot. And it was a beautiful glass building, big glass building, right on Alameda. And I had a nice office window, and you know, it looked out over Griffith Park. It was beautiful. You know?
Yeah,
really,
that's awesome.
That's great. But I've been a consultant with DC for years and years. I go over. It's kind of like teaching, in a way, and art directing. I go over a lot of cover sketches. I go over character designs. I go over layouts. I help new artists out. You know, whatever they ask.
That's great to hear. I was wondering if there was anyone doing that these days.
Yeah, me.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's cool. Well, speaking of DC, I had a kind of a specific question for you, which was going from like X-Men and the colorful, sort of hyper detailed style of that era at Marvel and doing something like Dark Knight Returns 3 at DC. As an artist, like, do you kind of have to like switch your mind state into going to Gotham City and getting darker? And it's like suddenly you're using like way more black on the page and high contrast, like, or was it just, this is just another freelance gig and you're going to bring your all to it? Or is there actually like an artistic shift going on for you when you make that move?
You know, it's a great question. It's a question I've been asked before. I don't know. I don't think it's consciously. I think it's more subconsciously. Kind of like when, when you're drawing something like Dark Knight, you know, and you're following Frank Miller, and you have that planted in your head as to what he did, and you can't get it out of your head.
Right.
What you want to do, because when I first read Dark Knight, it was like, holy shit, this is so good. Oh my God, this is like, and you get influenced by that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
The opportunity, and it was such an honor to work with him and with Klaus. And with Brian Azzarello and Brad Anderson colored it. It was like a dream team for me. It was I remember the first time I sat at this drawing board. You guys can't see it, but it's this drawing board right here. And I was looking at the script, and you start laying things out, or actually I did a whole bunch of character sketches first, but I could only envision it in a certain way. I couldn't draw it. It wouldn't be the same if it were like X-Men, but I envisioned it the way it should be done, but it was kind of subconsciously. It wasn't a conscious move. Should have the design effect, kind of like what Frank did. I actually at times I had to put Frank's stuff down, so I didn't end up copying it or anything. I just I didn't want like that. I wanted it to be my own, but I wanted it to have that iconic look that Frank had on it.
Oh yeah, because man, talk about like working on next level pop culture icons. It's like you go from X-Men to not just Batman, but specifically a Dark Knight Return. Like you're working in this legendary universe of Dark Knight Returns. Like that's a big deal. That's not just doing like a Batman's Elseworld story or something. That's sacred territory. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It was a really big deal. And, like I said, when I first sat and I was staring at that script, and I was like, oh, what do I do? I just, it's like, I got to start. So you just start doodling away,
Oh yeah.
Hope for the best,
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt that you got the backup of the brilliant Klaus Janson as your inker. I assume that's how
Klaus
you felt.
My ass many times. And, he really, Klaus is awesome. He's great. And he brought that look to it also. I absolutely love what he did. He's such a talented artist in his own right that, he made me look good. That was basically it.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
That's his skill. I think he might be my all-time favorite inker in the history of comics. His aesthetic and what he does and his signature moves that he makes with the brush and the pens, and his earlier work when he was doing like zipatoning and texture, and some of the certain issues he was doing, he was even coloring as well. It's like, well, this guy's beyond just being an inker. He's a visionary.
I mean, he was writing and drawing Punisher Monthly, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Was he?
Yeah. Penciling and inking it. He wasn't writing it. I think it was.
He was coloring.
Sure.
I think he colored most of that.
Yeah.
I'm really interested. I'm watching Sean. I'm watching you ink, and I always like watching how other artists not just interpret what I do, but their approach. Because when I ink, like I'll outline that whole thing first, right? I won't go and just finish off a leg or anything.
Well,
but
I work in areas. I mean, the first thing I'm trying to do is get a feel for how I'm going to do this and figure out how to take your language and put it through my lens. So I figured this leg is a safe place to start. And I'm getting to know my line weights. I'm getting to know my textures. I'm getting to see how you sculpt the form. Because if I just went through and outlined the whole thing, it wouldn't give me any feedback that I need to keep moving. Because I'm way out of my depth right now.
No, you're not. You're doing great.
Thank you. Jim, how are you doing?
Yeah,
I would good. I'm just getting going, but it is funny to have like Andy actually watching this. It's making me like,
I know I'm never this quiet on the show ever.
I love it. Like maybe this was a huge mistake to do this. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, Jason wanted me to maybe ink that or draw something too, but I actually wanted to watch you guys do this. I'm always interested in watching. I love to sit and watch my father draw. I used to just go in his office and sit behind him and just watch him go at it. It was like magic.
I mean, that must have been such a learning experience. I couldn't imagine. Like, to me, Joe Kubert's mark making is so singularly his that there's such grace and beauty. It's like a calligraphy mark with the brush. I just couldn't imagine seeing those marks being made. That would definitely shape my little mind.
Well, speaking of that, Landon Huber has a question for Andy saying, what was the most important lesson that his father ever taught him?
Oh, that's a good question.
As far as drawing,
Well, he didn't specify, but I'm assuming it was for drawing.
Yeah.
Don't really get critical on your piece until you're all done with it. Don't get like Sean just drew inked the leg on it, right? Don't get real critical on that one leg. Finish the whole thing first, and then look at it as a whole. And
that's great. That's great.
That bothered you maybe on that leg if you didn't like some feathering or whatever. That might not bother you anymore. And my father was right about that.
I was told
that actually gets me through a lot of stuff and still does.
Well, I was told don't eat yellow snow. So yours.
There you go.
That explains a lot.
That's
You never told me that. I probably ate way too much yellow snow.
Life lessons in the Schachter household.
There you
Jason ignored the lesson.
I learned the hard way. But,
Andy, before I forget, speaking of your dad, like I've seen interviews and with other artists that have these stories about your dad where he would, I don't know if it's true, but he would sit at a table and have all these tools around him or have multiple inking tools like in his hands at the same time. Yeah. And he would just kind of go from one tool to the other and just, is that an accurate description of his style, like an inking style? Kind of a free form thing?
Let me show you something. Let's see.
Oh boy, this is
okay. This is one of his pens.
Oh man. Wow.
Where's the other ones? I got a bunch of them here. Oh, this is one of his pens right here.
Wow.
I got a bunch of other ones too that were his.
But you still use them, yeah?
I still use them. Yeah, these are.
Oh wow!
This one here is probably about 15 years old, and I still use them. He even wrote this. It says "fine" on it.
Yep.
Wow!
He wrote that on there. Yeah.
Oh man!
And this one says "new." It's not very new anymore.
Did you what's fascinating to me is when I look at like you and your brother and John Romita Jr., like you guys had these fathers that were such stylists, and you've developed your own language, doing what you do, and became a stylist unto yourself. Did you feel like, was that intentional? Did you feel pressure to like steer away from looking anything like your father's work?
I was highly influenced by my father's work. I was highly influenced by my father, not only in terms of drawing, but in life in general. Life, how I approach my life. My father gave me and the rest of my family so much advice on how to conduct yourself in business and the comic industry and all that kind of stuff. It was all worked out for the best. And in art, like I love my dad's work. Through NBA, Sergeant Rock, Tarzan, all his stuff. He was such a talent. And you could see in my early stuff, one of my first jobs was before the book got canceled, I drew Sergeant Rock. It went to come out every 2 months. And I drew that for, I think, a year or two.
Damn, that's awesome.
It was. And the great part about it was, I was still living at home at my parents' house at the time, and I would just go up and do little thumbnails and, show my father, and he would critique them and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, my.
Learning experience.
That's amazing.
I wanted to teach at the school, too, and have an office down there, was so that I could see. He was down there every day, and I had a great time talking with him and just chatting with him and hanging in his office. And I would bring every single page down I would do and get critiqued on it. Every single one. Even extra pages, everything. I would bring it.
That's were you getting, was he pretty critical of your work? Like,
oh, heck yeah. Yeah. He would not pull punches. No way.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Because my kids are both artists, and my daughter specifically wants to go into comics. So I'm kind of doing that with her. And hearing these stories, it's like really touching, but I want her to listen to this, to hear your side of it too.
Well, you're not being, when you're critical, and I'm sure your daughter understands this, as did my daughter Emma. When I was,
That's right.
it's nothing personal. It's all you're trying
Right.
to, totally trying to help. Jim, that looks awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That looks great. Yeah, that's what they have to understand. Some people can't take the criticism, and if they can't take the criticism, then I think you're trying to do the wrong thing. But
Oh yeah, man. Bringing up your dad's Enemy Ace comics, I recently had a friend in St. Louis find a stack of those, and he gave them to me as a gift. And it's one of those books that when I look at it, it's like, okay, well, this is something that I could never, ever do in a million years, because this whole book revolves around storytelling based around guys piloting airplanes. And it's so well drawn and so well crafted and so well staged, and the storytelling is all on point. But at the same time, it's not figurative based, it's machine based, it's mechanic based. So it's like you have to have a true love of drawing these crafts and know what the hell you're doing, because your dad didn't have Google at the time. So it's like he had an old school, I'm assuming, like flat file of a photo reference. But that's a very particular type of skill to pull off doing that type of comic book.
Well,
would you agree?
Yes, but I know what he used on Enemy Ace.
Okay.
He actually built the model planes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And he used those for reference. He also had a flat file. It was a big old filing cabinet that actually he got off Carmine Infantino.
Nice.
Oh wow.
All like clippings and all categorized and all filed away. He had that too. I would talk to my dad about Enemy Ace, and he would tell me that he would get that done. He made it sound like he just hacked it out, And I looked at him, I go, "You hacked that? That's hacked out. How do you hack that out?" And he goes, "I had to get that done as fast as I could, And
Oh my God.
A lot of it, he would tell me he didn't even remember doing it because he just had to get it done so fast.
Oh my God.
Wow. Yeah.
Great stuff, though.
Hey, Jamie, would you guys mind showing a few of the shots from the Kickstarter? If you guys were asking about some of the reward tiers and
Yeah, you want us to pull up the page, Jason? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we can scroll through a few of them just to show guys what we've been working on. We're pretty
Yeah,
excited.
guys, let's get everyone signing up for the notifications, the pre-launch of this. This is going to be an epic collection of work here.
It's about it's a little over 200 pages. I want to say it's like 218 or so.
It was a lot. This is something that my wife and I, we went through all my original art, and I still have a lot of my X-Men art left. Of course, when Marvel, divided it up, the pencilers got 2/3 of it, and the inkers got 1/3. Of course, over the years, I had sold some off to collectors and that kind of thing, but I retained most of it. So whatever you see here in this book, I think most of it I have, except the Uncanny 266 cover, which I sold a while ago. But those are from my scans. I took scans of that Uncanny 266. That one, yeah. I took those.
Did you hold art back intentionally?
Yeah, I did. And you want to know why?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because at the time when it was selling for $50, $100 a page, all that stuff was $200 a page. I thought personally it was worth more. So not only just my stuff, but other artists too. But for me, instead of selling it, I just rather hang on to it. And I remember talking to a friend of mine, and he was actually my father's assistant, Carlson. And I said to him, he had $100, $200 a page for this, And he goes, just hang on to it. He goes, it'll be worth more. He goes, don't worry about it. He goes, and he was exactly right. So I hung on to it, and I'm glad I did. And right now, as Jason knows, I have a tough time letting this stuff go, because it's stuff that I kind of when I was doing it. I just had to get it done. Cranking out that work on a monthly schedule was a lot, and it was a huge grind, a grind that I loved, but that was a 7-day-a-week job for 6 years.
Right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But now that I look at it, because I hadn't drawn it except for the cover, I haven't drawn X-Men for since the late 1996. It's kind of, I don't want to get rid of it just yet, and maybe I'll give it to my kids and they can get it.
That's awesome.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we're trying to butter up Emma and Sam so they don't forget. They don't forget me.
Yeah, you and Doug's doing the same.
I was curious if that was like some wise business advice from your dad. Like, hang on to this; it'll be worth more.
Oh, he would say that too, but I specifically remember Pete telling me that also.
Nice.
My dad, at the time, my dad hung on to tons of his stuff too, and there was no, in the early 70s, late 60s, even up to into the 80s, I guess, there was no real market for original art at all.
Yeah.
Kind of recent, right, Jason? Maybe
90s. I mean, listen, it's all relative, right? When
I myself picked up a couple of Jim Lee X-Men pages, actually I traded for them for my pages, but the prices on them were like $200 a piece, at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. And I thought, $200 a piece. I'm trading my own stuff for it. Sure, give me Jim stuff. That was great. I got a couple pages. I still have them.
Well, even I was telling the guys before, when I was lucky enough to look through the flat files, there was covers and pages that were priced, for today's prices, ridiculously low, but nobody picked them up. And even that goes for, Klaus Janson pages or Frank Miller pages that I see float through here that are priced with like $80 or $75, marked down on Sunday. And, there was only a handful of people that were really interested in it at the time. So
I was at a very, very early New York Comic-Con, and I was a guest. I think I was just starting on X-Men. It might even been before. I'm not too sure when Hellboy came out, but Mike Mignola was there, and he was selling Hellboy pages. Okay, first Hellboy pages, and I knew Mike. I knew Mike well. We used to kind of hang out and stuff, and go out to dinner and that kind of thing. And he was selling them for $25 a piece, from what I remember.
Oh my God!
Damn.
I said, "Can I? I wanted to buy one," and I think somebody else was with me too. It might have been Jesse Delberdang, and he bought one too. But Mike gave me mine. I said, "I'll give you $25 for it," and he goes, "No, just take it." And he signed it to me and stuff, and it was very nice. But those pages go for a heck of a lot now.
Oh yeah, they do.
I've never got rid of it, and I'm not going to get rid of it. It's gorgeous.
We were at a friend of ours who collects original art for our last show, and he had a Hellboy painting that I think sold for $250,000. Is that right?
Yep.
Jim?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That was
Unbelievable.
Beautiful piece of work.
Wow.
But
Mike's a talent. He's a huge, huge talent.
Yeah. One of the masters for sure.
We're trying to work with him to get a Marvel Art of book done with him too. So secret.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be great. And then you'll have to get him on the show too, Jay.
Yeah. Well, hopefully everyone will come through. I mean, as long as everyone signs up for the Kickstarter, and
yeah, it looks like people are signing up. Do you know what number you were at before the show today?
I want to say it was 520 or so 530.
Let's get this up to 600 today. Maybe we can do that.
So one of the cool things that I'm super excited about, Jamie, there was a notebook that we're doing for Andy, and not only is it a notebook, but we put in blue line inks similar to what the guys are working on now. So if you're interested in learning or just testing out your skill on inking over Andy, you can do that here. And obviously it's a notebook with other, bits and pieces of a regular notebook, but also page layouts and cover designs and stuff for.
Oh, that looks awesome. What kind of paper is that on?
The kind you write on? I don't know. We haven't chosen the paper yet.
Okay. Well, then let me just throw this out there. Get a nice textured, like Bristol. Like, no, it doesn't have to be Bristol, but something that can hold up some ink.
Yeah, no, that's the idea, so you can draw on it. And this is the gatefold that is inside the book, but this is the door poster that we're going to make as well. So that'll be an oversized,
Yeah,
like 4 foot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
That's
from
badass.
Guide to the X Mansion.
Yeah, that is classic, man. That's awesome.
That was one of my favorites. I bought the blue line of this back in the day from Tom Smith, who did the colors. So it was hanging on my wall for like 30 years.
Oh, hey, Andy, seeing this image, another question. Any preference on your part of the team book versus the solo character book? The team book, I'm assuming, is way more challenging with all the reference costumes, or no? Like, any preference?
Honestly, no. I think to me it's the same. You know,
Okay.
A lot of people would say, yeah, you draw a team book. There's a lot of characters and that kind of thing, and to a certain extent, there is. You know, but there's just as much effort for me anyway. This is just my take, you know, as far as drawing a single character, or, you know, Batman and Robin, for instance, or Damian, compared with X-Men. It's just as much effort that goes into that page, you know, as it would be for either a team book or just 2 characters. So to me, it's the same.
Got it. Okay. And speaking of Damian, you did the Batman and Son with Grant Morrison, correct? Wow. So what? I that's a whole other question. Is like working from scripts. Like, is that's a particular thing? I'm assuming a Grant Morrison script is different than a X-Men script written by, I don't know who your writer was. Was it Fabian or?
Well, yeah, those were all Marvel styles. Those were all plots.
Oh yes, yes.
Fabian stuff. You know, that was all plots. To me, again, it doesn't matter whether it's a full script or a plot. I'm going to do what I do, you know?
Yep.
Grant's scripts were full scripts and they were excellent, you know, and Fabian's plots were great. And Mark Waid also wrote some of the X-Men stuff, and those were great too. Also worked on a couple of issues of Batman that Neil Gaiman wrote. Whatever happened to Commander, where I had to switch up the styles to emulate other artists that had drawn Batman prior.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot of fun, and it was hard too. It was real hard, but I enjoyed that.
That sounds very challenging.
In
a good way. In a good way.
Yeah.
So were you were having to draw in suddenly in like a Dick Sprang 50s style or something like that? Like, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I had to draw Neil Adams and Dick Sprang, Dave Mazzucchelli, and I actually learned a lot from looking at Dave Mazzucchelli.
He's one of the greats.
I forget who else, you know, but there was a lot there. You know.
Mazzucchelli's another one of the masters, man. I love his work. He is incredible.
Yep, it's very, very. It's simple, but it's deceivingly simple. Kind of like Alex Toth. It's very deceiving.
Yes.
Right.
You look at it and go, "Oh, it's kind of simple," but yeah, try doing it. You know?
Exactly.
Andy, did you have specific classes that you taught repeatedly, or did you just teach across the program?
No, I was second. The school was 3 years. Like you had, you know, first year, second year, third year.
Right.
I taught second year narrative art, which was how to take, basically how to take from scripts and translate that onto a comic page. How to lay it out, composition, storytelling, all that.
Do you remember like who you would use to show examples outside of your own work to the students?
Oh gosh, I did. I kind of forget who I did. I know I brought in the Jim Lee pages that I had.
Oh, nice.
Probably like other original art, my dad's stuff. Oh gosh, John Severn stuff. John Severn inked over me too. That was very nice.
Wow,
nice.
Yeah, that was cool. I forget who else. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
No,
all good.
Just do you have a favorite page? Do you have a favorite piece of art in your collection that's not yours?
Good. Wow, another good question there. From Jason, when you could ask me that anytime. I'm not that big of a collector. You know, I'm not the kind of person that goes out and buys anything and everything. You know, if I see something I'd like, or a person I admire, I'll go for it. The last one I got, I bought I always wanted a John Buscema page that he inked himself. And to me, it didn't matter what it was, older stuff, which was very expensive, or even more of the current stuff. But I lucked out and I found a page of Conan that I think it was a graphic novel that he penciled and inked. I'm not sure if he wrote it. I forget. And I bought a page off that.
That's some of my favorite comics, the Buscema Conan that he inked. I love that stuff.
Oh,
That's badass.
Yeah. There were some Savage Swords that Rudy Nebres inked over him.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
What was that? The Doom guy? I forget. He used to ink. I forget his name, but he used to eat worms and stuff, you know, to get his powers. It was really cool stuff. I love that art. I remember looking at that art when I was in my dad's school, and I just loved it.
Yeah, I would love that too. I gotta say, inking you is making me get a feel for how Delperdang probably approached you. He was a big influence on my inks. Like I would look at how he inked Rick Leonardi all the time. And as I'm inking this, it's like pulling back some of those memories.
You know, I'm just looking at what you're doing, and it kind of does remind me of that. You know,
it's like these chunky blacks and like thick lines.
Yeah, Jesse, I wish Jesse would still, you know, would get back into comics and stuff. He's a very, very talented artist in his own right. He's really good. Oh yeah, he's great.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I haven't talked to him in years. You know, I haven't seen him in a while.
Did he stop doing art?
I don't know. I don't think so, you know, but I don't know.
Right.
Are you guys having fun inking these?
A lot of fun.
I am. I got into like deep concentration mode for a minute.
I know it's like this is really hard to have a conversation.
Yeah,
it looks. Jim, that looks very Bill Sienkiewicz. You know,
that's my hero. Yeah, that's my guy.
God. Yeah,
that's
Jim,
my guy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, that's another. I forgot when you asked me who was inking me. Bill Sienkiewicz inked me too, and he did it on 2 issues of X-Men, and he finished.
Oh man.
Before Watchmen, I did 4 issues of that. And when my father passed away, you know, Bill came in and finished it up, and he did a great job on it.
Yeah, he's another one of just the masters of all time, man. And he's like a go-to for me because I've never been able to do like the super clean, tight thing. So for me, it's more of the textural, loose, scratchy, kinetic look, you know, is what I'm going for with my own work and when I ink other people or whatever I'm doing. So it's a particular aesthetic, but it suits me well. And when we're doing something like this, where it's like live and you're on the spot, literally on camera, it's like, dude, I can't do like a super tight, clean thing here. So I'm even like possibly saving the face of Wolverine to ink after you're gone because I'm feeling a little nervous. I'm feeling a little nervous about fucking it up while you're here, like
dude, it's funny you say that, Jim. It's funny you say that because I'm staying so far away from the
you're
face
avoiding
right
it
now.
too.
I'm gonna do it though, Andy. I'm gonna do it after this arm, but I've been staying away from it till I got in the zone.
I don't ever feel nervous, but I just feel like I don't know.
Both of you guys are doing an awesome job so far, though.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
I'd show you mine, but I don't want to embarrass the rest of you guys.
Yeah. Well,
thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. So considerate.
I'm like that.
Jay, that'd be hilarious if you did all these years you were doing secret inks over all the artists you work with, and then you didn't make your own art book out of it, and you just slip that into the next Kickstarter. and the buyers are like, what's this extra book? What is this? And you're like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I told you guys before we started on the show here. I pulled out I just pulled out my flat files. This was an X-Men page.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Damn.
This one here.
Oh,
Matt Ryan inked this one.
Look at that.
Look at that, man. That
This
brings
thing
back
here.
memories.
It sure does.
Which issue is that one from?
31, page 23. And in this one here, I'll show you all these things. This was a cover for Marvel Vision. Remember Marvel Vision?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it was when I was
wow.
But Marvel wanted, because nobody really, Kazar wasn't a huge seller. They said put Wolverine in it, and I said, all right, I'm fine with that. And Jesse inked this. This looks great. This awesome. This came out awesome.
Dude, I love the design decision of just that
Yeah,
big black swooping area. Like that's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, that's gorgeous. And yeah, because that makes me I didn't know what I was gonna do in the back here. I didn't know if I was gonna go full flat black here or go more textural and make it a gray to sit back in the space a bit, but seeing that's got me thinking.
What else you got?
This one. This
man.
Bishop cover.
Oh, dude,
that is a classic. That is
dude.
awesome.
I remember buying that.
So all this stuff was the Uncanny was on there. I guess they held that in the color or something. But I see the shine that was on the acetate.
That is badass, man. I love it.
Yeah, that is so.
I love it. I gotta tell you, the logo, this X-Men logo is phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree.
When they always encourage us to, we call it breaking the logo, have the art go over it.
Right.
And that just made it all 3-dimensional and everything. And you can still tell what the logo is.
Those covers of that, like your covers and the covers of that era, really were just so exciting.
It's amazing. Andy, when you break the logo like that, do you have to talk to the editor beforehand and say, here's the layout, we're definitely breaking the logo on this? Like Bishop has to look totally badass and his gun's going over the logo.
At the time at Marvel, no, you didn't have to do that at all. You just
okay.
Now I don't know how it is at Marvel. DC, they're very sketchy about breaking the logo. They don't like it to break it that much, which is fine. That's okay.
Okay.
Well, no, they're also doing more versions, so you just see the art, but the titles are trade dress down below. At least at DC, right? So you can see the whole cover.
This one's pretty cool too. Wait a second. What were you asking me a question, Jason?
No, I was just babbling. Go ahead.
This was what I did right before I got an X-Men. It was for Marvel Age.
Awesome.
And Bob Wyacek inked this. Now, he didn't turn out to ink the rest of it, but this was like one of my first X-Men things that I did.
That's fantastic.
Wow,
Killer
that's
composition, man.
Yeah, It's so fun. It's so fun. Oh, the comics were so fun back then.
Look at Cable's face. Like, look at
I know.
the rage. It's so awesome,
amazing.
man.
Yeah, that shit just excited me so much.
Badass.
I got to tell you, I would draw it so differently now.
Hey, Jay, we had a question, I think, about the Kickstarter. Ned Smitty asks, will there be anything from Andy's contributions to Ultimate X-Men? I know it's only a few issues, but those images of Magneto commanding Sentinels were amazing.
I think most of the art's from the main title, from like
Uncanny and X-Men.
And Uncanny. I don't think there's any Ultimate stuff in there.
Got it. Okay.
As far as I can recall, we did put some other cool bits and pieces like trading card art, some commissions, preliminary work. So there's a decent amount of stuff in there. We're hoping that if the Kickstarter goes well, we can do another volume of his other, Marvel work.
Oh, wow.
And, we had to kind of focus a bit to see, because there's so much of it really, that we wanted to focus a bit just on the X. Well, I should say I wanted to, because I freaking this was my favorite era of Marvel stuff. So I was biased towards, what I wanted to see. So maybe
that's why I made the joke about Jason getting an erection on this episode, because I knew this was his sweet spot.
Also, probably like every third or fourth page, I wrote commentary on the page as to what I try to remember what I was thinking when I was drawing the page, and what got me through it, and all, just little tidbits or Easter eggs about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Not
that's
on
great
every single
stuff.
page, but like is it every third or fourth page, Jason? Something like that.
There's some, it's a hodgepodge of stuff of whatever you were kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's the other interesting part of kind of hearing Andy's insight to, those pages 30 years after they've been done. And also some new piece. So the cover, by the way, is the first new X-Men piece in 30 years.
Wow.
And Marvel loved it so much, we had to push back our schedule so that I'm going to come steal that one from you.
This one?
So they made us wait because they wanted to publish it for Uncanny #1 for the reboot. So
Damn, that's beautiful. Wow.
Oh man.
When I did this,
Wow, that Wolverine is so awesome.
Yeah.
thanks.
Oh man. Who
What-
inked that one?
What's that?
Who inked that one?
Me.
Oh,
Wow.
awesome. Awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Killer.
What do you like to ink with when you ink, Andy?
Oh, sorry. What was that?
What do you like to ink with when you ink?
Let me see. I used mostly these are G5 nibs. I get them on
Okay.
Amazon. I guess they're
Yeah.
a manga nib, but they're
Yeah.
for me, and they don't last all that long. But I have like 5 different of them for 5 different thicknesses,
Mm-hmm.
and I also use let's see, a Raphael 8404 and an 8402.
Yeah,
Mm.
I got the 8404 right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're awesome. They're great brushes.
That's my favorite brush. Yeah. David Lapham got me trying the 8402s when we were working together. And those have a really nice long taper. So you get a really fine long point, but it was too much point for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I use them for like fine stuff and fine feathering and that kind of thing.
My problem is with the 8404, I can get way too fine already. So that just offered me like microscopic inking abilities that I did not need. And if I use it, I'll go there.
Yeah, that's like my dad. My dad liked the fatter brushes too and stuff. I like it a little finer. Oh, he's going into the head there.
All right,
Oh, yeah,
Jim.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
What
I'm
pen,
getting
Jim?
there.
What pen is that you're using?
This is the Pilot Parallel pen. It's like a calligraphy pen with a weird square metal tip to it. So you're drawing with a metal like square chunk. So if you do it on its side, you can get these super thin lines like that. And if you
Right.
just twist it, you can get like a nice thick line like that.
Is it flexible at all?
It is.
Huh.
So it gives you kind of this unpredictable ink line, which I like. I want that for my style. For other artists, that might be a total nightmare to not have a predictable line. But for me,
Jim,
it gives
we
me
had
that
We had a
scratchiness.
question for you there saying, what ink do you use to refill that parallel pen?
Oh, just the Rapidograph ink. It's waterproof. I can grab it. It's this stuff. The Black India Rapidograph. So yeah, this unscrews and has a cartridge in it, and then you can just fill the cartridge with this ink, because the cartridge that these comes with, the ink is not waterproof. So just be warned about that.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's a killer tool. I love using it. I use it for basically everything I do.
Yeah, Jim's got me addicted to those. I won't like ink like I'm inking now with those, but I like drawing with those.
It makes my art look like shit, so I don't use them.
Right, there you go.
I want to get one of those. That's neat.
Fun to play around with, and yeah, they come in a couple different sizes as well. So yeah, it's just kind of, it took me a minute to figure out what it could all do. It's a little challenging if you're used to the cleaner ink styles.
Well, that's okay. I think it gives a lot of life to the drawing.
It really
Yeah.
does. It
Creates
really,
like a
yeah.
kinetic look, you know, which I'm going for that over clean tightness, you know.
Yeah.
So you're saying
that
I'm doing
good.
it all wrong, Jim?
No, dude, you got your own.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
You got
kidding.
your- I'm
just
not-
kidding.
yeah.
I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I was going to
And
say
just
we had
a-
a good question for Andy from Henry Jaramek saying, Andy, what are your favourite covers that your father did?
My favorite what?
Covers that your father did?
Covers that my father did?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
favorites.
Covers of that my father had drawn?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oof. He's done like literally like thousands upon thousands of them.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole other show, basically.
Yeah, man, that's
Yeah.
well,
That's the Joe Kubert deep
God.
dive.
you go through some of his Tarzan stuff. You know, it did some great ones there. Enemy Ace ones. He's reaching out for, I don't know the issue number. He's reached the plane's upside down, and he's reaching like Enemy Ace is reaching like this, and the dog is falling out. And he's going Shotzi. That one I remember. Gosh, the one where he's on the horse too, with the plane all smashed on the ground in the background.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. You know, he's done so many great covers. It's kind of hard. You know,
Yeah.
I can't pick one.
Andy, were you like inking this? Like everything's there and the shapes are great and there's a looseness to it. Were you ever a tighter penciler than this? Is this like, did you develop this as you got more confident, or were you always in this zone?
If somebody else were inking that, like I drew that for myself to ink.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if somebody else were going to ink it, I'd probably go tighter on it.
Okay.
But then again, it depends on who's inking it. If my father was
Right.
inking it, I wouldn't go that tight, you know, because it didn't matter. You know, he's just go
Right. He's gonna do what he does.
Yeah, he just does. But yeah, it just depends on who would be doing it for the most part. When I worked on Before Watchmen and my dad was inking it, some of it I did really tight, and he would get so mad at me, because I would put so much detail into the background and like little windows in the buildings and everything, and he doesn't do that in his style. You know, he's very impressionistic.
Right.
And he goes, "It took me all day to ink this page." He goes, "You put too much stuff in it." I said, "Yeah, that looks really good." And he goes, "Yeah." But it took me all day. I said, "So what?"
Yeah. I was curious about that. If your dad was like teaching you to not pencil tight, but
When I ink myself, I usually don't. That one, I don't know why I did it as tight as I do, but like the project I'm on now that I can't really say too much about, I go looser than that, you know, because I like the spontaneity, I guess, with it, you know.
right.
I used that pencil really tight when I inked. The other thing is too, a long time ago when I was up at Marvel, it was in the late 80s, early 90s. I was in one of the editor's office, and there was John Buscema pencils. And I think, again, it was maybe it was another graphic novel or some maybe a Savage Sword or something, that he was penciling and inking himself. And his pencils, when he inked himself, the pencils were really tight. They were gorgeous. I mean, they were absolutely
Really?
Yes. And whenever I saw them for somebody else, you know, he would just do he would literally pencil 5 pages a day, you know, and they were
wow.
they were loose. But these were tight. I got copies of them. They're absolutely stunning. They're beautiful.
Would you email us a few of those? I'd love to see
I
that.
got them somewhere, but I definitely will. Yeah, I will. I will.
Now, Andy, listen, I don't know what this top secret project is you're working on right now, but when it comes time to do Dark Knight Returns 4 and you need an inker, Hit me up, buddy. Hit me up.
Dude. First off, you're gonna have to arm wrestle Klaus for it.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna have to fight
That's
Klaus.
pretty
Klaus
great.
will hate me forever.
And-
By
and the other
me
thing is-
saying "hit me up," what I mean is, could I maybe ink a pin up for it, or could I maybe...
Like that sheepish you got.
First, you know, they have to ask me to do it. You know, or
Oh, yeah.
Frank wants me to do it. Frank should do it himself. You know, if it ever happens.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if he's drawing sequentials these days, but like it, you know, that universe is something that I still love so much in comics. You know.
No, Frank. Well, he did a follow up to 300, didn't he? That was pretty recent that he did.
Oh, the Xerxes. Yeah.
Xerxes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He did that.
Nice.
Yep.
Are we? Do we determine if are we going to give these away in the Kickstarter for guys who donate?
Yeah, I'm totally down to do that.
Yes.
So, Jason, explain what you do. I like this thing you do.
Let's talk
So-
about that.
So we put in what's called like a golden ticket. We call it a gem ticket. And basically, anyone who donates to the Kickstarter has the opportunity to win an original piece of art. So both Jim's and Sean's pieces will be floating around as rewards. And then we still haven't picked one for Andy yet. So we have to pick one of his pieces to be included as a giveaway, as a golden ticket, so to speak. So yeah, we did those with the last few with Finch and with.
Are you gonna sing the song from Willy Wonka when you pack it?
The Oompa Loompa song, or
No, the I've got a golden ticket.
Oh, I don't know how to. I'm unaware.
Jamie knows, and he wants to sing it for us.
Oh my god.
I'll skip this time, Sean. I'll skip this time. It's my night off, guys. Sorry.
But also, you know, this is the variant that we did with Marvel. So these are only available on our Kickstarter, which is the Virgin variant. So this is Andy's copy. So
Oh, nice.
that'll be
But
one.
I'm signing those, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
So he's got a batch of them waiting to be signed, and we'll send some to CGC and all that fun stuff. But yeah, there's some pretty cool rewards for you guys.
That's awesome. Andy, we got a question for you. Andy, if you ever have time off, do you have any creative hobbies that lend themselves to your art? Any other art mediums you explore?
What I like to do is, since I live in Southern California, I've gotten into doing a lot of camping, off-roading, four-wheel drive stuff. I go up into the mountains, and honestly, I go up there and draw. You know,
Nice.
Oh,
It's-
that's awesome.
It's awesome, and it's very you know, it's quiet, and it's just nice being out. It's just nature, you know. It's just really nice. My wife and I and my dog is laying right down there. We all go out. And we go basically into the middle of nowhere where there's no cell phone signals. And
That sounds amazing.
my wife's a painter. She's a phenomenal painter. She's great, and she paints, and I draw my comic stuff. So
That's
yeah,
perfect.
that's
That
what I
sounds
do.
That
fantastic.
sounds amazing.
It really is. I want to show you guys also some more recent stuff. You saw the X-Men stuff. These are a
Yeah,
couple
I'd love to see it.
covers. This was a
Oh shit.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
this was fun. I love Snake Eyes. He's a
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Wow.
Yeah, that is so dope.
That's published already?
yeah. This was
Okay.
issue 306. I don't know what issue they're up to. I think I'm just drawing. I just started issue 315 for the cover. So
And you did some work on the that Kickstarter, the GI Joe Kickstarter, yeah, that went for $4 million.
yeah, I have those originals here too.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this was a cover that I did. with-
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
I love the GI Joe stuff. And when I heard
That
Skydown
is so
getting the
fun.
license, I actually emailed Alex Anton and said, "Hey, if you guys need a an cover artist or something, I'd love to do it. And they said, sure. We worked it all out, and I'm doing them. I love that.
Man, dude, your cover compositions are inspiring. It's incredible.
Thank you. Thanks.
It's awesome, man.
For me, that's the hardest part of doing this. Oh, this one, I just found this one. You guys might remember this Got Milk ad.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Totally.
Marvel.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then I met Stan Lee at a convention. I had met Stan a couple times, a bunch of times. But I saw him in a green room in the back. I think it was in Toronto years and years ago. And I saw him in a green room and asked him to sign it. And he signed right across there. But I got photos with him and stuff.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's incredible.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, I was very happy.
That's awesome.
That'd be good for volume number 2.
Yeah, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, that G.I. Joe Kickstarter was like the most successful comic book Kickstarter in history, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I understand.
Yeah, it was like a record breaker. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was really happy to be a part of that too. This was
Well,
this was one of the songs from it.
oh, that's awesome.
That is nuts, man.
That's so
Wow.
fun. That's so awesome.
That was part of the slipcase box, or
Yeah.
when they did for it. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Is that a new, that's a new level of dynamism for you, right? Was this an experiment? And it's just so damn dynamic. It's crazy. It's amazing. Were you stretching out on this one? Do you feel like were you kind of like
It could have been that the deadline was so tight on it, that what came out happened. And sometimes when you're working on tight deadlines, it's better for the art. You don't sit there and mess with it as much. And this was this Cobra.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And these two,
fantastic, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
And these guys, let's see. These landscape ones with all these are time consuming.
Oh yeah, for sure. Wow, look at Roadblock, dude. This is so
Oh,
bad.
that's so cool. That is so
Holy
cool.
shit.
There's one with the
Oh,
Cobra. Yeah.
oh, that's awesome.
Unbelievable, man. It's so cool to see. Wow.
This was a trading card that they did.
Oh yeah, gorgeous.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So cool.
That's like Dark Knight style. I love how
Damn,
the swords just have no line around them. That's gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
all.
you know what's inspiring to see, man, is your work is getting better with age. Like, would you agree with that? I mean, that's just my outsider opinion, but your work is getting stronger, and that's a concern for all artists. Like, I'm pushing 50, and I'm like, well, what do my skills start to diminish the older I get, or can I just still stay sharp and just keep this moving?
I got to tell you, I'm very cognizant of that. I'm getting older too, and I'm sure you've seen it. You guys have seen it, that when artists reach a certain age, maybe a step or two is missed.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, why? And I'm really cognizant of that, and I don't want that to happen. I mean, I press on each thing that I do because I'm psychotic. So
Right.
Well, yeah, that's a good topic to discuss. Jim, what do you feel? I mean, I would say, Jim, you're doing the strongest work of your life right now.
Thanks, buddy. I work hard at it. It's for every artist to kind of figure out like what path are you going to go down. But just seeing I hadn't seen any of those G.I. Joe covers, and it's like, to me, it's a step up and beyond of what I've seen of Andy's work. It's so inspiring to see that. Like, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, that fear, but I do feel like I'm still growing. Like, I'm still learning and getting better.
Yes.
that is what you just said. I think is the positive attitude. As soon as you're like, okay, I'm good enough, I think that's as good as you're going to get, and you might even regress. So
Yeah, I think, I remember teaching. I said the minute you feel like you've gotten there is the minute you start to like turn.
Absolutely. No, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's why I keep pushing. And, my stuff, as I think it's with every artist, you guys tell me what you think. They evolve, the work
Yes.
evolves, and you get different influences over the years, and, the stuff just evolves and changes. And, I think it has to a certain point. It happened with my dad, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the basic anatomy and sculpt was still there, but as my dad aged and got older, and I even talked to him about it. Like, you can see it got, I don't want to say cruder, but it got maybe looser than what he did on like Ace or Tarzan or that.
Yeah, Jew Gangster, really, that's exactly how I felt about it too.
Yeah, that was.
I love that book.
Oh, me too. And yeah, he goes, that's just the way he feels about it, and that's the way he sees things, and it's just, I don't know. He's one of the few guys as they got older that, for me, I felt that he didn't lose it. I thought he was just like getting better and all that,
Oh, yeah.
Agree.
What's cool, man, about seeing your new work is like you didn't fall into the trap of in the 90s when you were working on X-Men and stuff, like you had kind of that look of the cross-hatching and the Jim Lee sort of school. Like you had a bit of that, but like some of those guys fell into that style and they were never able to get out of it. They were never able to evolve, like you mentioned, evolving. And with your work and like Dark Knight 3 and then seeing your new cover stuff, it's like it looks like you've been conscious about not ever being trapped into a locked style. Like you're allowing yourself room to play and experiment, not just with the line work, but I feel like I said, that the dynamics of what you're doing is like, it's pushed. It's exciting.
Well, thanks. When I first saw Jim's work, I loved Jim's work. I was like, wow, this stuff's great. And, I was still very much a newbie at doing this. And like you said, you just want to evolve and get better and get all the art around you, surround you. And he influenced me a lot, and I didn't make a conscious effort to go into the X-Men office and get work. It's just, that's the way it happened. That's the way it came out, because his work did influence me. I really got into his the Punisher stuff he was doing,
Oh yeah.
And that's I used to go out. I never went out and bought comics ever, but I went out and bought his Punisher stuff because I really liked it. And that just really, I think that's pretty much what kind of got me into the X-Men mode of doing this. So I never, also, here's something else for you. I never really knew who the X-Men were until I got on them.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
I was never a comic collector. I read all DC comics, okay, but I never really read Marvel. I of course knew who the X-Men were, and Spider-Man and all that, but I never followed them or read them or anything like that. But for me, it was just another thing to do, And then once I got, started getting work from Marvel and stuff, and I read up on them and I got into it and stuff.
Of course, yeah. It.
Who's your favorite?
To draw?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, there's a couple of them. Wolverine, Gambit. Rogue is a blast. Colossus was a lot of fun. I love drawing the metal stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let me look at the cover. Psylocke. Yeah, I forgot about Psylocke. Yeah, Beast I was had a good time with too.
What about MODOK? Is Khosra in there?
Did I ever see MODOK? I don't know.
That damn MODOK.
I'm in such deep concentration mode.
You really are.
Sean, you are going for it, dude. Whoa.
That looks awesome.
God damn.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of little stuff going on in that face. But I was happy with the hand. I can never get my camera right. There it is.
So this, I think this is one of the blue lines we included in the notebook for you guys, for fans to ink along with.
Oh shit. Okay. So this piece can be like a community inking piece of.
Yeah. This is one of like 5 or 6 other blue lines that are in the notebook, that you can practice on.
Nice, man. And oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
Jim. I was just going to say we had a $5 super chat from Timothy Krelick saying, chiming in to let Andy know he's among my favorite Batman artists.
Hell yeah.
Thanks. That's really nice. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Jason, have you seen the numbers going up on the Kickstarter from this?
We stalled. We're at 563, so it stalled a little bit, but still pretty good. About 60 or so people have been checking it out.
Cool.
Can I just put the link in the chat again?
Yeah, guys, let's all sign up for notifications here. I would love to see us get to 600 on the show tonight. That'd be amazing.
And two of the guys here two fans will get at least one original piece of art.
Yes. And Kickstarter officially launches
Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time.
nice.
Oh, my time. Okay.
So we're excited to launch that. And hopefully everyone will support it. We're still a little bit behind on shipping Finch's book out, so there's been some people who are not so happy with me on that front, but we're slowly getting those out. So by the time Andy's book is ready to go, by the time books get into the warehouse, which we now hired a warehouse staff, they should be out within 2 weeks. So
Do you have a warehouse
sweet.
now, or are you just talking about your office?
no, well, my garage is full of Finch's books now, but that's
Right.
the last time we're doing that. We're hiring a third-party shipping company to do all the
nice.
fulfillment. So it's just been, this is the first time. We normally do everything out of my garage, but this time it's been too much work with conventions and other stuff going on that I just didn't have the time. Plus tech difficulties with shipping platforms. It's just a headache that I need to give to somebody else.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're.
Yeah, man. I'm having a buddy of mine do the fulfillment on my Kickstarter. Like he's helping me build the campaign, but he does Kickstarters for a living, and has his garage space as the fulfillment office, basically. And I'm giving him a small cut to just be like, yeah, you ship the books out, man. I don't want to mess with that part of it.
No, it's bananas. And, since we have this Marvel license, we're trying to get as many cool fan items as we can. So calendars and posters and books, notebooks and comics, so it all just needs to be done properly. And I'd rather just hand that off so we can focus in on, coming up with cool ideas and getting those books out as soon as possible. So that was the learning part of this particular Kickstarter. Even though we've been doing it for 15 years, this one's created some new challenges between, publishing for Marvel and all the tchotchkes. And
there's a lot to it, man. Jason's doing an absolute phenomenal job. And there's 2 designers, Chris and Dave, that are working on it. Those guys are doing a great job too.
I think Chris is actually here. Chris is in the lobby, I think.
Yeah, he texted me earlier, said he was going to be here.
Yeah, so those guys are doing some good work with putting the whole design together.
Oh, it looks great. It really looks great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about these boxes, Jay? Who designed those?
I designed them I basically sent my production guy overseas an idea, like, I just want to ship the books as is. Can you give us an idea of what that would look like? They sent us a template. Chris Ferguson actually did the designs on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Chris is in the chat, by the way. He said, thanks, Andy.
Yeah, he did a great job. So all the, Chris created all the templates and stuff for all the Marvel stuff that we're doing. So the first version came out. Well, we wanted to test it to make sure the books got to fans in one piece. And they're actually working really well. So well that fans want the shipping boxes as collector's items. So now we have to put the shipping boxes in another shipping box.
Right, dude. Your shipping boxes are too nice.
Yeah, not too nice.
And that's what
You're an overachiever. You made too nice of a thing.
That's the downside of that. Trying to make some cool stuff for fans that I like. Now it just costs a little bit more to get everything in a box to them, but we did it. We're happy to do it. We try to make everyone happy. So the next version will have some more art on the interior box, as well as some other little bells and whistles to kind of give our Kickstarter supporters a little extra, bump for the support. So
yep,
we're doing our best.
It's a good problem to have when you're making something too good. There's no complaints about shoddy product. It's like, oh, you made something so nice that people want that as an item.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I'm getting some negative feedback because it's taking longer to get these books out, but once they get them in hand, people seem to be pretty happy. So the goal is to get them out as quickly as possible, but Kickstarter, and why we use it is for small businesses, small publishers to, we have these hurdles that generally bigger businesses don't have.
Right.
And I found most of the supporters have been pretty patient and are okay with waiting. The one guy who emailed me today wanted to crucify me, so I don't think he's going to be supporting Andy's Kickstarter.
Oh shit. Okay.
But we can only do what we can do. But I understand. I've been screwed over by Kickstarter projects not getting my rewards on time or even at all. So it's understandable some people might be sensitive to some delays, but
Sure.
we can only do what we can do. Try our best. So that's the goal, is to make everyone happy and to come up with a really cool product that fans like and Andy likes and the creators like, and also that Marvel likes. So it's a undertaking, but we're slowly getting there.
Yeah, man. And it's seeing the work and seeing the other art books you guys are putting out, and then just me being a fan of all that, it makes me think of like we're living in a glory period, a glorious era of art books and having access to all this stuff. Because when I was a kid collecting comics in the 80s, I mean, there weren't really like artist editions. There was maybe a sketchbook here and there you'd pick up, but like living in the era now, man, where you can order like David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One as an oversized artist edition. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's like, dude, this is a prime time to be an art fan.
Do you remember buying Comics Interview magazine so you could see like some of the behind the scenes sketches from like Sienkiewicz and Mazzucchelli?
Completely. And Sean, it was literally like maybe you get 2-3 images tops. Like
yeah. But seeing the pencils was like mind blowing.
Yes.
Like, because it was like you could finally see like, oh, these are like, because when they're inked and printed, it's so perfect. And then when you see the pencils, you're like, oh my God, they're like, there's an artist really behind this.
Yes. It made it way more tangible.
Yeah, that's why I like those books that actually DC was putting them out, just the pencils. What do they call them?
Oh, yeah.
I forget what they were called. I got some.
Was that the Absolute edition?
I think it was the Unwrapped ones.
Unwrapped, yeah. I have a few of those.
What are those called again? I forget what they're called.
Unwrapped, I think, James.
Unwrapped, right. Yeah. Those were great. I love those.
Yeah, but even just the technology now, you can order stuff online. I had to go to my flea market back in the day to buy comics, and I can only go once every month or something if I was lucky. So comic stores really weren't, popular until I got a little older.
When did you first discover a shop, Jason? Were you teenager or?
Yeah, it must have been early teens. I mean, I would go to this flea market and buy throwing stars, right? And
Yes.
so that was like the pinnacle of our weekend if we got to go there and have a slice of pizza. And then there's a comic book shop, and it's funny. I was asking, I think Klaus, remember there was a smell to those comic shops.
Yeah, of
Oh
course.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's very distinct, and that's not a thing today, really, right?
Right,
in the
right.
modern shops. So Klaus was informing me that's the printing processes, right? The papers that they use, the inks that they use, is totally different from back in the day, and that was why it smelled the way they did.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I mean, that
the
makes
shit,
wild.
the shit smell was a different thing, but the
The terrible body odor smell.
Yeah,
Which
different.
guys, rest assured, that body odor smell doesn't go away in this culture, because I was just at Dragon Con with
Oh, it
Sean
was
last
awful.
weekend.
It was so
And my
bad.
God, the various smells in the elevators and the closed areas. Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot.
You can imagine. You can imagine.
You guys like going to conventions?
I do. Yeah. I enjoy actually meeting and talking face to face with the people that are buying my work and that are fans. I enjoy that part of it, but sometimes the actual travel and the lines and the show itself, it's easy to complain about that stuff, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's for me, that's the biggest hassle, is the travel, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What's the best part? I mean, besides fans, because who doesn't love being adored by people lining up to see you? But what other parts do you like?
For me,
it's nice conversing, talking with the fans and all that. I like doing that. I also like going to some of these shows that have the celebrities. I like seeing those type of people that go to these things, So it's kind of neat. It's fun.
Yeah, we were at Rose City last weekend, and they let us in the green room there. So we were hanging out with Rosario Dawson and Hayden Christian. Like, obviously, we just sat in our corner and ate. But we did get to chat with Tom Welling, who was very, very nice.
You usually find out that they are very nice, people.
Yeah, everyone in those communities tend to be pretty cool people. We were just too we didn't want to bother anyone during lunchtime, but we were a little starstruck. Simon Pegg was there too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was on the phone with Jason.
Oh, nice.
When Simon walked by. I would say, I think one of my favorite things about cons is because of the modern internet world and this industry. I have some very close friends like Jim and Mateo who live nowhere near me. So for me, conventions are really a time to see my friends and have some good meals together.
Yeah,
Sean is the master of picking out where we go to eat. Like the meals are and Jason, you know this. Like the meals are always on point. So.
Oh yeah, I think that's one of our favorite parts now is finding some really cool places to eat. Even though I'm basic, meat and potatoes guy.
That's a kind way of putting it. Yeah.
But we went to a place called Mother's Diner. Mother's. You're from Portland, Jim, right? Mother's Kitchen, I think.
Oh yeah. Where is that? Is that close to the convention center?
It was right in downtown, and that was the best meal we had in a long time.
Okay.
I had ball soup, which was delicious. It was amazing.
Nice.
So we'll find these out of the way places sometimes, and that's part of the whole experience of getting to travel around the world and finding some cool places. Other times we just eat in the hotel room, and that's not as exciting. But
yeah, but when you're working like you are, Jay,
we just need some sustenance, and so we try to get out at least one night to enjoy a meal with everybody and try to be social. So that tends to be our favorite part, is just getting to hang out with the guys and gals and chat and talk shit, the usual.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. You mentioned like that's the other side effect of conventions that I never thought would happen to me is being able to travel international. I mean, I never thought I would go to Japan, Singapore, Europe. I've been to all these countries because of my art, because of comics, and
that is amazing. That is truly amazing.
Inviting me and paying my way. It's like, oh my God, dude! I never thought that would ever happen in a million years. That's amazing. So
yeah. Italy, for instance, is
oh.
I'm trying to get to Italy.
Yeah. We had the time of our lives. It was amazing.
Yeah, that trip was special. And Abu Dhabi, Jay, how about that one?
Abu Dhabi was amazing.
That was
I thought I'd be in
amazing.
that part of the world as well, and the people
Yeah.
there were super friendly, super amazing. Like,
Oh, amazing
there's
people. Yeah.
people you can meet.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the things I was trying to tell Mo, like, hey, why don't you come work with us and travel around the world? You know, like, what's the downside of seeing all these amazing spots
Yeah.
nothing.
and getting to hang out with all these great people?
Getting there.
Getting there kind of
Well,
sucks.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I'll
But once
be
you're
on-
there,
I got a big flight on Monday.
wait,
Oh, yeah.
Italy.
Yeah, taking the fam to Italy for 10 days.
Well,
Oh, that'd be awesome, though.
We'll
Yeah.
be-
Oh my God.
we'll be in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
jealous.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Gonna have a
It's
blast,
like
man.
usually every international trip I've ever gone on has been like work but play. This is like my first like strictly non-work trip overseas.
You're gonna have a blast. Andy, we got a question for you. Andy, what characters or books would you like to have drawn if you could pick anything? For example, Doctor Strange, Swamp Thing, etc.
I've done pretty much every. You mean like mainstream books? I've pretty much done them all. That's what I'm gonna do. I can't. The only ones that I haven't really drawn are like Spider-Man. But even though I love the character, I'm not a Spider-Man artist at all.
Mhm.
I've drawn him like maybe 3 or 4 times. Once was when you just saw him, you know, in that Got Milk ad. But
Well, I mean, are there any writers you're hoping to work with? Because you worked with some pretty good ones so far, right? I mean, is there-
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate with the ones I've worked with. Yeah, you know. Again,
I won't put you on the spot.
thanks. Thanks a lot.
So, is there anything else you can share with us regarding what you're working on now?
No.
It's
No,
all lock and key.
it's all yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. It's going slow, you know, because I'm a nut about it. But it'll be out. You know,
Nice.
hopefully soon. And we'll announce it.
When you say a nut about it, are you meaning just your own sense of perfectionism, or is there kind of an open deadline on it, and you're in the position of saying like, "Hey guys, this art isn't getting turned in until it's where I want it to be."
It's all like I guess mutually agreeable. I'm not too sure, but they know the way. You know, everybody knows the way I'm working on it, and I'm sure. I think pretty much pleased with the results. You know how it's coming out, so I'm just proceeding as I just going as I'm going. You know.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, and still keeping up with the GI Joe covers. I took on some other like that one Kickstarter and some other variants and stuff. You know?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
What do you feel is an underrated run in your career? Kazar doesn't get enough.
Kazar.
Yeah, Jay, come on.
I call him Kazar. It's like kazoo. What's the guy?
Yeah, great kazoo. Underrated?
Is it? Ask the question. What do you feel is an underrated run in your career?
I don't know.
Kazar?
Maybe
Stop
Kazar.
saying that.
Maybe Thor. I think Thor worked out pretty well. Wasn't on it all that long, but I like that book. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's tough to say. Some of these questions I can't answer because I just don't know. I don't even
Oh,
think.
sure. No pressure.
And I really just don't think about it that much, you know, as far as like success or not success, you know. I don't know.
Was there one that you didn't have much fun on working on because of either the characters, the writing, the outfits, the
Well, there are some, but I don't want to talk about it, you know, because I don't want to put anybody.
You want to shit on it?
I'm not that type, you know. I don't want to put anybody down, so I'm not going to do that. But there are, you know, not everyone is,
Right. Can't all be winners.
can't all be winners. No matter what you do.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
He's basically saying, Jay, that the Kickstarter project, because he has to work with you, is the biggest headache of his life.
That was the biggest pain in my ass.
That's true. I gotta bug them for stuff, and
All the time.
it's an undertaking. Actually, it's been really fun. One of the best parts, can I say, when Andy's doing the cover, he asked me which characters we should put on there, and
Oh, jeez.
I got to poop in my pants a little because I was like, I get to pick the characters. I was pretty excited that he even asked me that, which ones are your favorite characters? So that was pretty exciting for me.
That's
it's
awesome, man.
Great working on the Kickstarter book. We bat ideas back and forth all the time. And, with Chris and Dave too. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy working like that. I like to give and take. I like other people's opinions,
As long as they're positive.
as long as they're, yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it's been a lot of fun with these things, is being able to go back and forth and seeing art and just chatting what people like, what they don't like. But my job in general allows for that a bit, which is pretty fun, just as a nerd and as a fanboy, being able to get the inside track on some of this stuff has been fun.
Yeah, man, it gives you a new insight into like what people want and like what resonates with people in a way.
Yeah, but also trying to understand what the creators like or what they like to see on their end, and what they don't like. It's a learning experience, but it's interesting to kind of peek behind the curtains and try to understand. I think I was telling Andy, like, there was a few different versions of the cover or different pieces. And why didn't you like, what was wrong with that? Because when I look at it, it looks freaking great. Like, I can't tell that, a piece of the anatomy doesn't look right, or the perspective is wrong, or, whatever it is that kind of sets off a flag to you looks amazing to me. And to understand why that is interesting.
Right. Yeah, it's weird because artists have their own little quirks about their own work and certain things, certain pieces. Or I've worked with designers in the past where sometimes they do something and the first time I see it, I don't like it, and I have to kind of let it marinate with me and maybe look at it the next day even and say, oh no, they're right. Like I get it. It just wasn't what I was expecting necessarily.
Right.
That's just collaborating though. That's just kind of like,
do you get, I don't want to say sensitive, but do you get pissed off? We were talking with David Finch about this weekend, of when editors will make, comments or try to change the art. Does that piss you off because it may or may not be true? And if it is true, does that piss you off even more because you didn't see it?
Yeah, well, if it reveals their lack of knowledge, then it makes me pissed because I feel like, why does this person have the job?
Right. Yeah.
And there is modern editorial things that happen in comics now that I think, like, is this just a 25-year-old kid who got hired? Like, what do they know anything about the craft or about what's going on? But then I sound like the old guy. I sound like, the get off my lawn guy. Like, these goddamn kids, they don't know design. They don't know who Mobius is. It's like,
I'd say there's very few, but there were a few editors that I trusted, and when they chimed in, I liked what they had to say. If it made it better in the end, it gave, like, I'm not going to sit here and think I know what's best all the time. And if it's an editor that obviously has knowledge and it can help me learn and be better, then I'm down.
Yeah.
Like, Axel taught me a lot. But then again, I had most of my editors were like what Jim said. They had no idea what they were doing. They're just having you change shit because it made them feel like their job was valid.
That's a shame. I've been fortunate to work with some great editors. Like I even just before working with Alex Antone on the GI Joe cover, batting ideas back and forth. I did a sketch, and he's like, "Yeah, that works out okay, but why don't we try this?" And I was like, that might be right. So I'm gonna rework the thing out, and I think it's important to have that collaboration on it. And but then you're right. It all depends who you are working with.
Completely,
like-
man. Yeah.
Like when Chiarella was at DC, getting cover feedback from him was like a lesson every time, and I look forward to it.
Yeah. Mark's a very knowledgeable artist. He's really good at it.
Yeah, he's
But he
amazing.
was one of the editors that actually have, has experience as being an artist.
Right.
Um,
All right, I did the face. I
Yeah.
tackled the face.
I got to get going, but
Okay.
Thank you very much for everything. And please, if you could scan those in and send them to me, I would love to see them all finished.
Absolutely.
That really looks great too. And Sean, that's coming out fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on here, Andy. I really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us, and thanks for doing all this. And I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Maybe next time I'll sit here and draw with you guys.
Definitely, man. Andy,
would
thank you
love
so
that.
much.
Anytime.
We
Okay.
appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
I thank you too, and I look forward to seeing you in person too and having a beer with you.
Definitely. Sounds great.
Definitely.
All right, take care. Bye, Jason.
Take care, buddy.
take care.
Bye.
I'm soon. I'm leaving soon too, unless you want me for.
It's up to you, Jay. No, we got shit. We gotta promote and pimp and all that jazz.
All right, I'll let you guys get to it because my dinner just arrived. So
Oh, okay, well go eat. Yeah, we're good. Just one more time, let's get everyone to go sign up for the pre-launch of the Art of Andy Kubert, X-Men Art of Andy Kubert on Kickstarter. The link is right there. We're trying to get Andy up to 600, 700?
we're at 578. So
Oh, we're getting closer. All right.
we're getting closer. So
Let's
you.
get it up there.
Nice,
there.
man. Jason, thank you for coordinating all of this with us tonight, man. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure in all of that stuff. Thanks for having us and promoting the Kickstarter stuff and donating the art to lucky fans. Even though I might steal them, I don't know.
Yeah. That's on you. That's on you.
I mean, if they get there, then it's a bonus. But I don't know, man. It's going to be tough.
Right.
That's
So-
definitely on you.
I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Jamie, thank you for everything. Appreciate your help. And we'll see you. We'll work on the next one. So we'll have some surprise projects coming up throughout this year and next year. So stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah, come back on the show.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Stay safe.
Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
That was awesome, dude.
That was badass. They
Very fucking cool.
that was more than I thought we were gonna get. Like that in a good way. Like that was great.
Yeah. I mean, we got to see some great art. We got to hear some historical comic stories. That was incredible.
Let me, Sean, if you don't mind, can I
Do your
some
thing. Do your thing. Yeah.
blatant pimpage, much needed pimpage. Speaking of Kickstarters, guys, you know what time it is of the show. Defective Comics presents Savage Street Vigilante, coming at you October 1st. The world's greatest one-shot comic book. A bold statement, I know, but I will stick by it. We got
I'll
my
stick by it
cover.
too.
Thanks, buddy. We got my cover. We got the Mike Huddleston variant cover. Look at that ridiculousness. And I also wanted to show a new image tonight from the print set that I'm releasing. Not Cat Burglar Girl will be part of a 5-print set that you can buy when you order the Kickstarter. And Jamie, can I get the camera real quick? And then also turn this light off. I'm going to be selling the originals of the prints as one of the tiers on the Kickstarter. So I'm going to have some original art on it as well. And the prints are all directly ballpoint freestyles from my sketchbook. So I will carefully cut these out and sell all 5 of them as part of our campaign. And as of right now, as of today, we are at 766 people signed up for the pre-launch. Guys, if you could do me a favor and get over to that and sign up if you haven't. The goal by the end of September is to have 1,000 people signed up for this bad boy. I know we can do it. It's an attainable goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just need you guys to help spread the word. And even if you have friends and family that don't want to buy the Kickstarter, just have them click the notify me just so we get the numbers, if you don't mind. We can get it. We can do it. It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
all right, Jamie. Oh, you can say something, Jim?
That was my pimpage on that. And then I also just wanted to show 2 current projects, 2 things that just came out. I rocked the cover for Kevin Smith's Quick Stops Volume 2. This just came out last week. Hardcover collection from Dark Horse Comics of Kevin's newest like black and white View Askew universe comics that he's doing. So fun stuff. Got to rock Jay and Silent Bob in a Rat Fink-esque hot rod, something kind of different
awesome
for me.
I love
but
that.
it's always good it's always cool to see your stuff on like a hardcover cover. And then another book that just came out, A Ghost Arm Made of Angry Ghosts, you guys. Issue 1. This is a fantastic new independent comic book series. These guys, Oliver Mertz, I'm buddies with, and he commissioned me to do this cover. This is a new series, and they're releasing each issue through crowdfunding. And it's a nice, thick, prestige format. Look at that Alexis Zierett back cover.
Oh, dude, I love Alexis' stuff.
It's so badass.
Yeah,
these guys are making great indie comics, and it has like a really nice classic feel to it.
That's great.
Set in 90s punk era, sort of like the Washington punk scene, references to Minor Threat and
oh, dude, that's where I grew up during that.
This
era.
is your this is your jam.
Oh,
this is
yeah,
like your shit. So it's a great read, and it's a fun book. And I wanted to pimp their stuff, and you can get it at I believe it's ghostarm.com. But just Google the title, and you will find where to purchase my cover and the rest of the covers on that. My final pimpage. Yes. Jamie, can you show the thumbnail? Trash Movie Bonanza, you guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
2 days from now, we got our special Friday the 13th episode dropping on Friday the 13th. So Chris Pierce and I review 2 of the worst Friday the 13th. Part 5, where it's the imitation copycat Jason killer, and it's pure sleaze. There's so much nudity and just trash in this movie. And then Part 8, Sean Crystal's favorite one, which is Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason Goes to New York. And it's terrible. It's so bad. It's awesome. So there we go. That's my stuff.
I gotta start pimping shit. I will say, I don't have an image for it. I'll get you one for the next show, Jamie. Please go to inkpulp.tv. That's the new website. It's the home of the Inkpulp community. Sign up when you get there. You'll create your login and password. You'll get on my newsletter, and it'll also give you access to the blog, where I'm going to be pushing more and more of my social media. And also we'll be able to discuss episodes of the live show and the podcast. I've got all my Ink Pulp instruction stuff there, my merch. I got some stickers up now that will grow. And podcast, live show, and the Ink Pulp playlist on Spotify of classic 90s hip hop. And you can sign up right there.
Sean, I signed up when I was in Atlanta.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
The new site looks super sharp, man. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's fully functional now. We are gonna have a VIP area which will be like a monthly subscription fee, but not much, like $1 to $5, and you'll get access to some stuff. I'm just working on what that will be and having the time to put it all together. But there's your ink pulp instruction videos, all there now, at a really nice little price point. So go subscribe, get to newsletter, and get active in the ink pulp community. My hope is that people will start using the blog over there as almost a message board for the live show and the podcast. And I'll be putting some instructional stuff on the blog and some behind the scenes stuff. It's all being
By the way,
worked out.
Sean, this photo of you, that's
Yeah.
a great photo, by the way. look
Thank you.
good.
I had a photo shoot. A buddy of mine here is like Killer Mike's photographer, and he just called me and he's like, "Let me shoot you." And I have a whole, like, all my PR pictures are from that shoot. Actually, we did 2 shoots.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Oh, I just saw. I want to plug. West Coast Davengers is doing a 3rd year anniversary live stream tonight when our stream ends.
Oh, nice.
And I'm gonna go jump over there and say hey to Dave
nice.
when our show
Awesome.
ends. So you guys, when our show ends, please go over to West Coast Avengers, Davengers on YouTube and hang out. He's having Way Shack on as well,
Oh,
and
Joe.
a couple other folks. So Dave's a part of our crew basically at this point. He's just a good guy and is always so supportive of everything we do and super chats us and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give him props and shout out everything he's doing because he's just a good dude.
That's great. Jamie, let me get the camera. We're gonna do some line pulls now. This is always exciting to do on camera. Long brush line pulls. People love when I make little reels of this stuff, but you guys can see it in real time. So I start off just by measuring the line. Boom. Brush line.
How does he do it?
Let's do another line pull with a brush. Guys, this is not line stabilization on the iPad. I'm just saying.
How does he do it, folks?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
The
All right,
uncanny. And gotta mention this. I don't want to end the show on a sad note, but gotta mention
we do.
If it's okay with you, Sean.
Yeah, we have to. I wanted to.
The passing of John Cassaday this week, major blow to art, comics, life in general. I really had the distinct pleasure of getting to know John in the early 2000s, and I was going out to New York a lot in 2004, 2005 era for MoCA, New York Comic Con, and I was also sort of dating a girl who lived out there, so I would go out there and visit, and I would go out with John Cassaday and Paul Pope, and at the time, Paul was dating one of the girls who was a burlesque dancer at the world famous Slipper Room in Manhattan. Incredible nightclub and burlesque spot. And I would go out and party with these guys until like 5 a.m. And it's so funny because John and Paul are both like handsome, rock and roll looking guys. And so when I would go out with them and they'd be surrounded by like beautiful women and stuff, I was just like, these guys aren't in comics, are they?
Yeah.
They're not. Like, but then Sean, like when the girls would go away and we'd be in our booth or whatever at the club or after hours eating at like 4 a.m, when we were all drinking and stuff and it was just the boys, suddenly we'd start talking about like Jack Kirby or
of course
inking techniques. And it's like, oh, these are nerds. These guys are in comics.
Yeah,
okay.
totally.
Okay.
All right. Well, I have one John Cassaday story. I didn't know him. I met him in passing a couple times, but we were at a Chicago Comic Con once. This is like not C2E2. This is Chicago when it was not in the city. Do you remember this show, Jim?
Totally. Yes.
It was outside the show. So we were, and it was only like there was nowhere to go. There was one bar. There was like a Mexican restaurant and the hotel bar. Like that, those were your choices. So the hotel bar is where everyone hung out. There was a Playboy model at the con. 'Cause this is, you don't see this anymore, but do you remember there were always like some Playboy models selling 8x10s?
Oh,
At the
dude, of course
con signing?
there used to be like penthouse pets that would show
Yeah,
up.
yeah, exactly. So this was a Playboy model. She's at the bar. All the nerds are just like, this woman's in hell. She's just surrounded by nerds. No one's got a shot. No one's got a shot. Cassaday walks up, orders a drink, and leaves with her about an hour later.
I love it.
It was legend.
It doesn't surprise me, man.
No.
That's so great. Yeah, I reached out to Paul yesterday with a text, and he responded, and I could tell he couldn't talk about it because it was just too heavy, but he just said, thank you. Thanks, man. He posted a very quick thing that I wanted to read.
Sure,
and it's
go
just
for it.
about him and John going out to LA from New York when they had some freelance work. So, Paul says, I can't say much about Cassaday. He was a close friend, but I'll share this. We landed in Bakersfield with the idea to be in the desert for a couple days and then drive to Hollywood, where we both had work. We went to the car lot to get a rental. Under the dry sun, I was looking at the cheapest standard cars, gray and anonymous. He said, no, we need the Corvette convertible. He pointed at it, red and horse-like. It was the prom queen of the lot, the best car they had. It was gorgeous and unattainable. Why do we need this car? I asked. Because we need to live, he said. He said it with a convincing straight face, tall and cowboyish in his denim jacket and necklace, golden TV hair waving in the dry sun. And we got the car. And we drove through the desert and the mountains and listened to Black Angels and Pink Floyd. And we eventually got to Hollywood and parted ways there and worked. And we lived.
Awesome.
Perfect. So, John, we love you, dude. I'm glad and fortunate and lucky that I got to know you, and everyone out there who didn't know John. I mean, it's okay, enjoy his work and just put him in your thoughts. But I don't know, man. We've been losing a lot of people. I don't know what's going on, or if it's just us getting older or age, but
no, that's definitely part of it. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's all we can do is just keep moving, right? Like you just keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
But that being said, man, this was a killer show. This
was an amazing show.
This was a blast, man.
So yeah, let me just speak to the audience here for a minute. When Jim and I conceived this show, from the get-go, we were like, we gotta have guests on. And we were like, yeah, we do. But we both agreed that the first couple months should just be me and Jim to sort of establish this show and let people, get a feel for it. So fate just landed this opportunity to have Andy Kubert on the show tonight. But moving forward, we're going to be having some heavy hitters coming up. So stick with it. I mean, not every show, but we're going to have a bunch of shows with some great guests to just take this show to the next level. Now that it's been established and it's kicking so much ass, it's time to give it a little steroid boost.
I agree, man. And we can't thank you guys enough for being here and for just being part of what we're doing. Obviously, if no one's participating or no one's watching, we don't really have a show or a movement here. So we greatly appreciate you guys. We greatly appreciate Jazzy Jamie Wood for always dealing with our shenanigans. And
and guys, if any of you are going to New York Comic Con, Jim and I did kind of a dry run on this idea of having some giveaways and then doing a group photo on Sunday. So I've just ordered about 500 ink pulp pins, buttons that are giveaways. And we are in New York Comic Con. We're going to try to get a massive group photo going on Sundays, on the Sunday of the show, all the ink pulp community. So please stop by my table or Jim's table. Me and Mateo will be next to each other, and we'll have just stuff to give you guys.
It's gonna be super fun.
Also, just
Yeah.
quickly.
Oh, actual Dracula, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated.
Oh, hell yeah.
Have a look at that one.
Here's
What'd
my
you say,
bugs for
Jamie?
Jim. Please address West Coast Dave as French Toast Gabe on his show tonight.
Awesome.
I'm assuming you guys know each other. I'm assuming
Yeah, so it sounds
that's
like.
it. Damn, man. So, Sean, you're
Yes, sir.
out of here. You're out
On Monday, yeah.
for a much well-earned family vacation. So we'll be back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, guys. We'll be back on October 2nd. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we'll be back October 2nd. And Jim, Adam, I put a deposit down. We're all getting tattooed by Adam and Florence.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, yeah, my buddy Kodak, who did, Jamie, if you want to give me the camera, he did this entire arm of mine. The brilliant Adam Smith Kodak.
So I told him,
old buddy of mine.
Yeah, we all want like an olive branch to commemorate our trip, but in his style. And I figure, like everything I've seen of his, it lends it to it. So this is as far as I got today. I'll definitely finish it for Jason and all. This was challenging as fuck.
Yeah.
Imagine the pressure you guys felt right there.
Yeah, I mean it's partly the pressure. It's partly having to entertain while I'm making. I mean, I didn't have any real time to like think about what I was doing. It was all just firing on instinct. But like typically I would have looked at it and tried to like get a feel for the lighting and the textures I want to use, but I just ran with it, and I think my instincts are not failing me.
Both of those.
Dude, you rocked it.
Amazing, guys. We had that.
Yeah, I'll put the final on my social media. Jamie, you are so quiet now. What happened? You were doing so good.
Is that better?
Yeah,
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
Apologies,
Adam
guys.
Archer. Adam, thank you for the super chat, bro. I supported Adam's Indiegogo. Everyone check out Adam's work online. The dude has a super unique, badass style. Love his work.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Much appreciated.
But Sean, you went with like such a concentrated, clean, elegant style on that. The fact that you did that live is because I'm just scratching around here. I'm doing my thing, my scratch thing.
Yeah, but it looks
God
awesome.
damn.
I mean, this is what I know how to do. I mean, this is just what I do.
Both of them.
Now, do you
so good, guys.
Now, guys, look at this. Based on this, you think Adam is going to eventually call me for an inking
Dude,
job?
I think he might. That looks so badass.
It does.
That looks so badass.
Now, when I finish this, I'll finish adding Zipatone throughout it and I'm going to hit it with, the ink spatters and
yeah,
I'm going to turn this into something. So this was fun, man. This was badass.
Yeah, this was awesome. This was totally awesome. Yep. So this is that's the craft of inking getting done there. All right, let's thank you all. Let's close up the show. It's 2 hours.
We're good to go. We're good to go.
Yes, sir. Thanks everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Jamie. Good night.